Welcome gamers, I am your host RGV Joe Gamer. This week we'll be taking a look at, I'm sure all multiplayer participants have dealt with at one time or another during their gameplay, and that is cheaters. Yes, cheaters. These players have infected yet another game. Apex Legends is the newest victim to these losers who we call cheaters. It has been a little over 5 weeks and 5 days since the release of this Apex Legends game. This game to the gaming world, and as reported by Kotaku.com, a website that specializes in game reviews, news, tips, and more, it all started about 8 days after the game's release. In an article written by Cecilia Di Anastasio on March 14th, she writes that she spoke with 5 cheat makers in an interview, and here's somewhat of what she found out in this game. One cheat maker, who would only go by the name Deb, was working on what he called Fortnite stuff. Before Apex Legends hit the market, suspicious Fortnite stuff, he clarified over a Discord voice call. Over time, he explained advances in Fortnite security software made cheating very difficult and easily detectable. Fortnite's developer also began suing cheat makers, which scared a lot of them off. He says that's why he and several other cheaters moved to Apex Legends, which he says is much easier and more lucrative to develop cheats for. So we have a plethora of cheaters moving from one platform, from one game, which is basically Fortnite, which is the biggest, up until now, was the biggest open world player battle royale game, moved to Apex Legends. Why would they do this? What is motivating them? Well, here's it go. Dev's cheat making operation opened just 4 days ago from this article, and over the course of those 4 days he has made about $5,000. Screenshots provided to Kotaku corroborate his story. In one video advertising his software, Dev's business partner Tom gets 30 kills in just one game. To this date, Tom's account, Dev says, is still up. 30 kills, guys. That is a massive amount. In every game, in every server, I believe, in every game that you play, there are 60 players, and it's put in teams of 3. We have gone over that in previous videos. If you've played the game, you know exactly how that works. Put in teams of 3. So that means out of the 60 players, this guy is taking out half the teams. That is 10 teams by himself or with his team. It doesn't specify, but that is a massive amount of kills in one shot. Now, just to clarify that the biggest issue for me with these cheat makers and these cheaters is on the PC. Since making cheats for consoles like Xbox One, PS4 it's a much more difficult process to even install the cheat and to learn how to use the cheat. Not only that, but there's a much bigger risk, because if you get caught, you can get your unit blocked or banned from Xbox Live or the PlayStation Play Store or whatever PlayStation uses. I'm sorry guys, I am not a PlayStation person. I am an Xbox person. I know I'm going to get some dislikes for that, but that's okay. So my question is, what is the developer for Apex Legends doing about this? Well, as of March 8th, they claim they have banned 355,000 players who are using cheats like aimbot and other hacks that allowed players to see people through walls and to see through smoke. Now, that's a huge advantage, especially aimbot. If you've ever seen an aimbot, it has that jerky movement, so it's pretty easy to see if you know what you're looking for. Now, these 355,000 bans, they all come from the PC version of the game. I myself have not been able to find anything about how many bans have taken place on the PS4 or the Xbox One, or if they've even banned anyone from these systems. But what happens once these players are banned? Or is it a permanent ban? What's going to happen to these guys? Well, we go back to the article in Kotaku, and it basically says this: since Apex Legends does not need to be repurchased since it's a free-to-play game, if a player is banned for cheating, there aren't huge repercussions for getting found out. If you get banned, you can just create a new ID, change your hardware IDs, said Dev, which he added is possible with a with a piece of free software. Cheat makers and setters have even made their own favorite characters to cheat with. So as we can see, there's no big repercussions for those who are found out cheating, at least on the PC. Like I said earlier, I think for Xbox One, PS4, I think it's a little bit more. If your character gets banned, you basically have lost your Xbox One subscription to that character to get that game or to log on to that game, which costs you a little something. The same thing for the PC. For the PlayStation 4. And so what happens then? What can we do to help this situation out? How can we make this a little better? What is Respawn doing to help fix this situation? Well, 9 days ago, Respawn Games posted that they are working on some pretty sensitive stuff. One of those things that they have done is basically post a link for us to use to help point out any cheaters we see or anything like that. Well, that's all fine and dandy. I think that's great, but we need more than that. We need to stop these cheaters at the source. Right now for them, until we get something more from Respawn, business seems to be booming for these cheat makers and for these cheaters. This game is highly popular, and there will always be people looking for an advantage over other players in the game. I don't think cheating will stop anytime soon for this game or be even rectified. But until then, let's go over some simple tools or some simple ways that we can use to help identify cheaters. One way would be basically record the incident as best as possible. If you can record your game, screenshot it or something, record the game, record the player, use the kill cam and watch what the player is doing. If they're using aimbot, it's going to be easily visible if you're watching them for a while. If you believe they're seeing through smoke, anything like that, record the player, and there's a higher chance that you will be able to identify this player. And then the second step you need to do is report anything suspicious. Even if you not 100% sure, hey, it doesn't hurt, submit the report it to Respawn so that they can take a look at what's going on with that player. Just because you were reporting them doesn't mean you're accusing them of cheating. You're just basically stating, hey, I believe something's up, I'm not sure, can you guys double check? And that's what they're going to do. They're just going to double check for you. They're going to find out if they believe that person is cheating or anything like that. They will take care of it from there. Also, you got to be careful with who you play with. It's easy. I believe cheaters are a little bit less conspicuous than they would like to believe, only for the fact that they don't usually use their own personal ID gamer tags. For instance, most people have a basic gamer tag that states, runner 24 is 10 or cupcake man 3656. They'll just have some random gamer tag. But these players, these cheaters, are more likely to have gamer tags that state like player 165832 or player 244864. Those are just random guys. I'm not saying those people are cheaters if those gamer tags exist. But I'm also not saying that these people who use these type of gamer tags, they're all cheaters. No, that's not what I'm saying either. It's just that there's a higher chance that there might be cheaters with these games or these gamer tags. Also with gamer tags, players who have these gamer tags are just players that have an extremely low level but have a massive amount of kills. I'm just gonna say if you have a level player 10 on the game, but he has like 500 kills, you might be like, hey, something's up with this guy. That's kind of either very impressive or you might not be completely honest with your gameplay here, buddy. But like I said, that's not to say that all these people are cheaters. He might be a player who, hey, you know what? I was playing before. I decided to play on a new system, and I know how it works. You don't know. So, but like I said, if you see something, if you see his gameplay or their gameplay, and you're like, hey, this guy's that looks really suspicious. Hey, report it. No big deal. Here's what another article at GameStop.com has to say. about the situation and what basically Respawn had to say about this situation. So we need to continue to adapt and be very vigilant about fighting cheaters, Respawn said. We take cheating very seriously and care deeply about the health of Apex Legends for all players. Respawn added that it is working on some new anti-cheat measures. I kind of mentioned that earlier. But the developer doesn't plan to openly communicate its plans and that's its intentions. We're going to be pretty secretive about our plans, Respawn said. Cheaters are crafty, and we don't want them to see us coming. At a high level, Respawn said it has already begun communicating with anti-cheat experts within EA and outside of it. Not only that, Respawn has begun to scale up its own internal anti-cheat team, while the studio plans to introduce new reporting functionality for bad behavior with more than 50 million players already, and its popularity only continuing to rise. It's no surprise that Apex Legends cheats have become increasingly commonplace. You know, just knowing that they're trying to do something kind of makes me feel a bit better. Hopefully it brings you a little peace that, hey, you know what, if I'm experiencing a lot of cheaters in the game, it's not gonna last. Well guys, that looks like that will do it for us this week. We'll try to get a video out next week and keep it going week after week. Don't forget to like and subscribe this channel for the latest updated videos and any news in the gaming world. Also, don't forget to check out my Fallout videos, my Fallout 76 videos. I'll be posting one up hopefully by next week as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your spring break if you were on spring break. I know I've enjoyed my spring break and that helped me get this taken care of. Don't forget guys, you have a great day. Game on gamers, game on.
I just wanna run, hide it away, run because they're chasing me down. I just wanna run.